Mr. Fall, it is now 7 p.m. We can begin. Call to order. Yep.
Roll call?
Call to order.
Or-
I'm sorry, yes, roll call. I
Yeah,
apologize,
Of
yes.
course. Councilwoman Perone,
Present.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Present.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Present.
Mayor McIntosh.
Present.
Reverend?
Yeah. Pastor.
I apologize.
Yes. And your pastor,
Vondell Scott.
Vondell Scott.
Vondell Scott would be,
Okay, Vondell. From?
Willingboro.
Oh, okay.
All right. Amen. Thank you so much, Mayor, and the rest of the staff for having me today. My lovely wife for being here with me. Let's all heads bowed, all humbled hearts. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We bless you. We worship you. We thank you, God, for the township of Willingboro, Father. We thank you, God, for blessing our mayor. We thank you for blessing everyone, God, who is assigned to this town. We thank you for Willingboro, God, being a place of great history. We thank you, God, for this meeting that will go forth accompanied by your direction, your guidance. We thank you, God, for just the right words being said, the right words being spoken. We thank you, God, for everyone being in unison, in unity in the spirit, God. Same mind, same will to please you and to bring glory to you and to bring great respect to this community that we live in, God. We thank you for those who are coming to reside in this place. We'll see this is a place of excellence. In Jesus' name, we thank you, God, for making this place even greater than it's already been, God. And we thank you. We thank you. We seal this prayer with the thanksgiving. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Vondell Scott. It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Excellent.
Yes.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to the compliance statement.
Notice was provided to the Burlington County Times stating the date, time, and the agenda to the extent it was known in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act. Additionally, notice was posted on the bulletin board, the website, and a copy was filed in the office of the Township Clerk.
Thank you very much. We'll be moving on we have a couple of proclamations today. We will be postponing the proclamation and celebration of the Willingboro Recreational cheerleading team to a time when they'll be here so they can accept the proclamation. We'll start off with the proclamation in honor of Lupus Awareness Month. Thank you to Tarina Williams for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation in honor of Lupus Awareness Month. Whereas May is Lupus Awareness Month, the color that is worn to support lupus is purple. Lupus is a disease of the immune system. Our immune system protects our bodies from infection. However, when a person has lupus, their immune system attacks their tissue, which results in tissue damage and illness. And whereas lupus can be very uncomfortable and painful, symptoms vary for those who suffer from this illness, but can include achy joints, a butterfly-shaped rash across one's cheeks and nose, hair loss, sensitivity to sun or other light, and fatigue. Lupus can also affect body parts such as skin, joints, kidneys, blood, and can also cause easy bruising and blood clots. And whereas there are a lot of people in our country that suffer from lupus, there is no known cure for the disease. Genes have been researched, but there is little evidence that confirms that genes cause lupus. However, It has been studied and confirmed that 90% of people diagnosed with lupus are women. And whereas there is no confirmed cure for lupus, there are some daily lifestyle changes one can do to improve their quality of life. Lifestyle changes include exercising, getting enough rest, having a healthy diet, be a partner in your care along with your physician, and most importantly, asking for help to learn more about the disease. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Willingboro Township Council, along with Mayor Kaya T. McIntosh, and the residents of Willingboro, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Lupus Awareness Month. I encourage all Willingboro residents to learn more about how they can support individuals with lupus.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. Appreciate that. And now we do have a special proclamation for one of our exemplary young Willingboro residents. Mr. Jordan Witherspoon Johnson, would you mind standing up so we can acknowledge you? And there's a picture, I think we have a picture for our online residents so we can all give honor to this young man. Whereas Jordan L. Witherspoon Johnson, a remarkable 16-year-old, has achieved an extraordinary milestone by graduating from Rowan College of Burlington County with an Associate of Science degree in physics. And whereas Jordan's early childhood development began at the Cathedral of Love Christian Academy in Willingboro, New Jersey, where he demonstrated his academic prowess by graduating as the kindergarten salutarian in 2011 at the age of 4. And whereas Jordan pursued his elementary education at the Life Center Academy in Burlington, New Jersey, and during his 5th grade year, he expressed a keen interest in science and enrolled as part of the part-time student at RCBC, where he thrived in an adult learning environment while pursuing a rigorous STEM program in physics. And whereas he balanced his academic pursuits with participation in the Burlington City football program and developed a passion for the junior ROTC at the Lenape Regional High School District, achieving state-level drill competition awards in the years 2021, 2022, and 2023. And whereas Jordan's dedication to both academics and extracurricular activities has led to his selection for the Howard University Summer Research Internship for Physics and Astronomy in Washington, D.C. And whereas Jordan has also demonstrated his leadership and technical skills through various roles, including as a turf installer technician at SOD Services LLC, and as a technology education and arts ministry technician at Delaware Valley Baptist Church. And whereas Mr. Witherspoon Johnson's community involvement extends to his participation in the Kappa League Youth Leadership Development Program, where he engaged in community service and academic mentorship. Whereas Jordan's athletic achievements include serving as football team captain and contributing to his team's victories as national football champions in 2016 and 2018. And whereas Jordan's academic journey is distinguished by his consistent excellence across multiple educational institutions, including Rowan College of South Jersey, Lenape Regional High School, and Life Center Academy, earning him numerous accolades and honor roll recognitions. And whereas Jordan will be RCBC's first African-American 16-year-old to receive an associate's degree in physics, exemplifying outstanding dedication, intellect, and resilience. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Kaya T. McIntosh, along with the Township Council and residents of Willingboro, New Jersey, do here recognize and honor Jordan L. Witherspoon Johnson for his exemplary achievements and contributions to our community. We celebrate his exceptional academic success, leadership, and commitment to excellence. Can we all give Mr. Witherspoon a hand? All right. Mr. Witherspoon, Mr. Witherspoon. Um,
Just real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Madam Mayor, if I may, it is also my understanding in speaking to his mom that he hasn't even graduated high school yet.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Jordan.
We can get a quick picture with council. Come on up this way. Yeah, this is it. Congratulations. Yep, yep, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, that's my thing. Thank you. Congratulations to you. I'm proud of you. It's always wonderful to hear the good things that are happening in Willingboro. We're kind of hard on the young people sometimes and think they're not achieving, but Jordan is one of those examples of many that are achieving great, great things. And we look forward to you achieving further success. And we're really proud of you. So I'd like to thank Mom for bringing it to our attention. Thank you. All right, we'll be moving on to our manager's municipal updates.
Good evening, Mayor, council, members of the public. I too would like to congratulate Mr. Witherspoon Johnson on his successes. I saw his name on the agenda this evening and just could not imagine who the individual was that would be receiving a proclamation for academics, but absolutely well-deserved, well-deserved. So that being said, I did forward to the governing body the full report for the month of April, which will be posted on the township's website for review and access to the public. But I will just highlight a few points for your knowledge since we last met. Revenue generated as of April 30th, 2024, total $8,860,331. 2.5 million of that, which was tax revenue. We did pay a monthly allotment to the Willingboro Board of Education in the amount of $3,273,775.66. A total of $8,060,798 was expended as of April 30th, 2024. Our inspections department has been busy. They have completed 2,250 total inspections during the month of April, noted 1,183 violations. They issued 37 summonses. They completed or 995 violations have come into compliance or have been closed, and they have extended 72 extensions for those who are still trying to come into compliance. They collected a total of $112,880 in revenue for the month of April. Our DPW also has been very busy. They received 11 pothole complaints. They addressed 48 pothole complaints during the month for a total of 523 so far for the year of 2024. Our sweeper is out and busy collecting 57.75 cubic yards of materials during sweeping operations for the month. Our DPW are also policing our roads. They collected 66 30-gallon trash bags of material on our main roads. 16 trash cans were swapped and dumped during the month. They retrieved one deceased or animal carcass off of our main streets during the month. In our parks, they collected 39 30-gallon trash bags of material. 56 55-gallon trash cans were swapped or dumped, and they collected 88 30-gallon trash cans were also dumped in the month. Our fire and EMS department They assisted our mutual aid department several times during the month of April. Willingboro sent firefighters to a few communities to assist their fire departments at various fire incidents. One time in Burlington City for a house fire, one time in Burlington Township for a house fire, twice in Edgewater Park for apartment fires, one time in Delran for a house fire, one time to Mount Laurel to cover an assignment, as well as answering 128 calls for fire department services and 425 calls for EMS services right here in Willingboro. Our EMS collected a total of $55,687 in revenues for the month, totaling $228,261 for the year. On April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, our Willingboro Fire Crews did participate in a full-day Rescue Task Force RFT training in conjunction with the Willingboro Police Department at the Willingboro High School, which I do believe they were participating in active shooter activities during that time. Am I correct, Captain Perez? It was a 3-day event which all of our department members sharpen their skills in preparation for an active shooter event, which we hope will never occur here in Willingboro. In April, our police department responded to 3,372 calls for service, 13,031 thus far this year. Ironically, it appears that it seems that for the month of April, Tuesdays were the busiest day, followed by marginally by a Monday. You would think that Thursdays and Fridays were, but not in the month of April. Our human resources reports that there were two new hires during the month, one in our Department of Public Works, a laborer, who I am happy to announce that is the first female Public Works Department employee that has come to work in Willingboro during my tenure. And there was one clerk in the Recreation Department as well. And just some notes, our segment 4 road program construction is begin to start on this Thursday. The Starbucks construction in the town center is underway, and we look forward to its completion in the coming months. They have also begun the reconstruction on the old Goodyear site, which will become a Caliber Collision auto body repair shop. I'm happy to report that the main pool at Pennypacker was repaired last week. Unfortunately, the spray park machinery is beyond repair and we require a complete replacing. We're getting pricing for this work, but it's unfortunately, I do not believe that it will be completed by this pool season. We did issue RFPs for the theater management of the theater being constructed at JFK. There was one RFP that was returned on May the 8th. One responded, and the information was forwarded to the governing body for your review and final determinations. We have been continuing our conversations with consideration for transitioning the library over to the JFK Center. We have also been furthering our conversations about a proposal to increase funding to some of our additional organizations in the township utilizing the $117,000 worth of opioid drug money that settlement payments that we have received so far this year. A few months ago, residents from Troy Lane had come, Troy Lane and Beechnut Lane had come to the council concerned about the traffic flow on those streets. We did go out as a group, Public Works, the police, fire, my office, and yeah, I did say Public Works, and we did look at the area. The request was that that area be blocked off. Before we made a final determination to do that, we did a little bit of a traffic study there to determine, the extent of the problem. Over a period of I'm sorry, 27 days from April the 19th through May 15th. There was a speed trailer placed on that location in the area of 11 Troy Lane, which monitored traffic turning off Tiffany Lane and traveling towards Beechnut Lane. The average car count per day on that street was 70.2. The average speed of those vehicles was 15.18 miles per hour, and the total cars during that period, the 27-day period, totaled 1,896 vehicles. The high traffic points during the course of the day were the periods at 7 a.m. between 7 and 8 a.m., where a total of 9 vehicles would traverse through that area. And then the other high traffic areas were between 1 and 4 p.m., with an average of about 6 vehicles coming through that area each hour. So after those figures and discussions, it would be my opinion that that would not warrant a street closure. However, we have discussed and are proposing to place a no left turn sign at the high school, which would prevent high schoolers from using that thoroughfare in the afternoon hours. And we are also suggesting increasing the signage, highlighting the lower speed limits, and increasing enforcement by the soon-to-come traffic division. And finally, I would like to report that we had 3 applicants for the OEM coordinator's position. After interviewing 2 of the 3 applicants, we have chosen Mr. James Anderson to assume that role as the OEM coordinator. Mr. Anderson is a 30-year firefighter, has been a 30-year firefighter in Willingboro, and has served as a deputy OEM coordinator since 2001, which is a total of 23 years. Mr. Anderson has the knowledge, experience, and connections to seamlessly transition to the helm and move Willingboro forward in our Office of Emergency Management, and he will assume his new role on June the 1st of 2024. And at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Jackson to come and highlight other happenings here in Willingboro.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and residents of Willingboro. Before I update you on the upcoming events, I just want to make sure you are aware of a few items that are going in around the town and affect our residents. Road work, street paving, and sidewalk repairs continue to be done in the township in our efforts to make the township a better and safer community. As a reminder, please adhere to the road signs, detours, and other directives prior to ensure everyone stays safe in the process. As Mr. Harris advised, work on garden work is scheduled to begin on Thursday. So we just ask that you make note of that in your day-to-day travels. Also, PSE&G is working on replacing gas meters in our community. Letters have been sent out to affected residents regarding having their meters replaced. It is very important that our residents read and respond to the letters in a timely manner. In the event residents do not respond, it may result in having their gas shut off. And of course, we want to avoid that as much as possible. So we just want to make sure we bring that to your attention. Cannot hear me. Can you hear me now? Is that better? No?
Hey, hello, how you doing? Everybody's good. All right, can we just keep going or do we need to start over? Keep going, okay. I want to make sure you all know about, just respond to the letters from PSE&G and make sure you don't get your gas shut off. So we want to avoid that. And then regarding the upcoming events, we are excited to share that our Friday night music series will finally have a kickoff on Friday, May 24th at the amphitheater, weather permitting. So as a reminder, live music will be held on the 2nd and 4th Friday during the months of May, June, and July. Genres include Latin, gospel, Caribbean, and R&B. So plan now to be a part of that series. And on Friday, we will be welcoming Valerie McNair, who will be specializing in gospel music. So we're looking forward to that. On Saturday, May 25th, we are anticipating that the Country Club pool will open and plan to kick off the, so we
invite you to be a part and plan to kick off the summer at the pool with us at Country Club Pool. And then closing out this month will be our Memorial Day observance on Monday, May 27th at 11 o'clock. We will pause to honor the memory of those who have sacrificed their lives while serving our country. Again, the observance will begin at 11 o'clock and will be held at Mill Creek Park. We do want to let you know on Thursday, June 13th, the Willingboro Police Department will host Kona with the Cop from 4:30 to 6:30. That's a Thursday evening, and they will be held in the back parking lot near the police department. We will have a game truck, some animals from the petting zoo, and free giveaways. So we invite you to be a part of that. That'll be fun on a Thursday evening. And then all are encouraged to save the date of Saturday, June 15th. We will celebrate Juneteenth from noon until 4 at Mill Creek Park. We're looking forward to another great opportunity to celebrate African-American culture, freedom, and education. And this year's theme is the Harlem Renaissance. So we're looking forward to a great afternoon to celebrate the arts, culture, and music of that era. We do want to remind you that applications for both our Youth Police Academy and the Youth Fire Academy are now available. These spots will fill up fast, so secure your spot today. And we also have Stop the Bleed courses on the second Saturday and third Thursday of each month. These courses are hosted by our fire department. We do want to encourage our residents to take advantage of these courses because they have not been attended as well as we'd like. So we want to encourage people to take advantage of the Stop the Bleed courses on the second Saturday and third Thursday of each month, here until, I believe it's November. So as always, this information can be, in all of our other information can be found on our website, social media platforms, and our YouTube channel, or by subscribing to Willingboro Weekly. So thank you.
That is it for this evening, Mayor. So the business being presented to you this evening for your consideration is ordinance number 2024-6, which is an ordinance amending ordinance 2022-6 in order to amend the description of the project to include Charleston Road. There is a sinkhole that is occurring on Charleston Road, and we're amending this ordinance so we can utilize ARP monies to help facilitate the repair. Ordinance number 2024-7 is the reappropriation of $125,000 in unused debt to also provide for the stormwater repair project for Charleston Road. Ordinance number 2024-8 is an ordinance to reappropriate $80,603 of proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes and reappropriate them to provide for the renovation and improvements to various municipal buildings, parks, and roadways. One in particular is repairs at Broydale Park, their restrooms, and then other facilities across the township as needed. Resolutions being presented for your consideration is resolution number 136, which is a resolution to rejection of bids for solid waste collection services. The township did go out to bid for solid waste removal services for the residents. One bid was received, submitted and received from Suburban Disposal. That bid came in substantially high, and after reviewing the bid, myself, the Deputy Township Manager, the Qualified Purchasing Agent, and the Finance Officer has determined that the bid substantially exceeds the contracting unit's appropriations for those goods and services, and we ask that you reject that bid in compliance with the local public contracts law. Resolution number 2024-137 is a resolution awarding an extension of contract with Republic Services for the provision of solid waste collection services in Willingboro Township. We did enter a contract with Republic Services back in 2021. The contract was for a 3-year term, which had a provision for 2 one-year options to extend. It would be in the best interest for the township at this time to exercise the first 1-year contract extension with Republic Services for the period starting June 1st, 2024 and ending on May 31st, 2025. The first-year extension will increase the current base contract amount by $50,475.12 from a total contract of $1,446,641.52 to a contract value of $1,497,116.64. Resolution number 138 is a resolution authorizing a not-to-exceed amount for Sunnyside Farms for the provision of leaf disposal services for the Department of Public Works. This just sets the $43,000 not-to-exceed amount so we can prepare for leaf collection, which will be here before you know it. Resolution 2024-139 is a resolution authorizing the sale of surplus township property which is no longer needed for public use through the municipal bid public online auction platform. The police department is looking to sell a lot of various Safe Fleet in-car video recording system parts that are no longer useful or required. Resolution number 2024-140 is a resolution appointing a municipal engineer and authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract to CME for professional engineering services related to Broido Park. CME Associates did design and oversee the engineering portion of the project, but did not include contract and construction management in its original proposals to the township, and those services are necessary to make sure the contract is completed and the park is installed as designed. So we are asking for the award of that contract to CME in the amount of I think it's $19,500. Resolution number 2024-141 is a resolution of Willingboro to permit the issuance of one new plenary retail consumption license and setting forth the criteria for applications for such license. And if the solicitor would like to further expand on that, then she can do so when I'm done. Resolution number 2024-142 is authorizing a payment of bills. Resolution 2024-143 is authorizing an emergency purchase pursuant to NJSA 40:11-6. This an emergency has arisen, as I stated earlier, with respects to the conditions of severe erosion at 460 Charleston Road. That's an existing outfall pipe from Charleston Road. In its current condition, the existing pipe presents an immediate danger to the public and warrants an emergency replacement to avoid potential catastrophic failure. The township engineer has solicited from 5 contractors quotes, and we are asking that the award be given to Landberg Construction in the amount of $216,833.95. Normally, we would be required to go out to bid for this project, but the engineer did certify that this repair requires our immediate attention, and we will utilize our abilities to award a contract without bid under New Jersey statutes NJSA 48:11-6. Resolution number 2024-145 is a resolution to authorize the submittal of an application to the Governor's Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse through the County of Burlington. These funds are the funds that are utilized, grant monies to fund the Municipal Alliance for Willingboro Township. The amount of the grant or the amount of the application for the grant for fiscal year 2025 is $3,500. There is a $875 cash match and an in-kind match of $2,625. So this resolution authorizes the submittal of that application. Resolution number 146 would be to go into executive session, And finally, resolution number 177B would be to approve a liquor license for Foster's Military Lodge, and the township clerk can elaborate on that further as he sees fit. And that is all of the items being presented to you for your consideration this evening.
Before we go into public comment for agenda items only, did any council members have any questions for Mr. Harris on his update?
Just for purposes of clarification, the resolution 2024-136, where the request is to reject the bid, understanding there was one bidder, and that, just for the public, that number came in at $19 million. Okay, so that's why it's being rejected. It was $19 million. Thank you.
In reference to our OEM, do we need to do a resolution for that?
We do.
We know, okay. All right, any other questions for Mr. Harris? Or
Mayor,
Ms.
I'm sorry, did you read resolution 134 for the extension of premises permit?
Oh, he did.
I
I don't have resolution 134 in my,
I don't have that.
Or 144, my,
oh, 144.
So I may have skipped over that. So resolution number 144 is a resolution granting an extension of premises permit and authorizing the township clerk to certify the same special permit application. What an extension of premises permit is, or do you want to go ahead?
you're good.
What an extension of premises permit is, it allows anyone who holds an alcoholic beverage consumption license to extend the permit outside of the originally licensed premise. So I believe they want to hold some function that in their parking lot, probably their First Friday events. The building is licensed, but not outside of the building. So they're just asking for a temporary extension of their premise to cover the parking lot. So therefore they can serve alcohol in the parking lot for that event.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will open it up now for public comment for agenda items only. If you have any questions or concerns about any of the resolutions, please come up and state your name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes. And again, this is public comment for agenda items only. The other public comment will be right after we handle some business. But if you have any questions about the resolutions, this is your time. You have 2 minutes. All right, we have some people online. Okay. You can come up. We just have-
Yes, Mayor Brown.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council Member, Manager, and residents of Willenboro.
Can we
I
get
wanted
your-
to ask about ordinance 2024-06 for
Can I-
Charles
Ma'am?
Road. Yes,
We just need your name and address for the record.
sorry. Sharon Brown, 78 Executive Lane. So I'm going over some audience that has to do with repairing the roads. And I wanted to know if we had any money trickle down from the $1.3 trillion of the infrastructure bill from Congress. Are we using any of that money for the road, or are we paying it out of our own pocket? And ordinance 07 reappropriation, going back to the budget, so that money's going back to the budget. That's not needed, right? And also ordinance 2408. Could you explain the detail in which it's needed for the 2,500 for capital improvement? And ordinance 141, what is the new permittary retail consumption? Could you explain to me what that is? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. We'll answer all questions after we get all public comment.
All right, Johnny Waller.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I'm driving in the car. My husband drives. 6 Joni Waller, 6 Troy Lane.
Your address?
Can you hear? Yeah,
Yeah.
6 Troy Lane. Can you hear me?
6 Troy Lane.
I'm sorry.
Oh, got it.
I did want to say, I appreciate all of the works that you've done for the little openness for our street. And I appreciate the data. We all know data is always important, and the data that you gave at what happens in the beginning of the morning and the end of the day. However, I'm right at the front of the cross street with Tiffany, and we still see we've seen several almost accidents. And I know that I know what you all want to do, but I really hope that you would consider just doing something else. The sign, I don't know if you put a stop sign. I know you said you were going to put some kind of signs there. The residents would prefer, the tax-paying residents would prefer that you put the box back, because what you guys cannot see, we see during the day. That this has been an ongoing conversation. Mr. Harris, I've called several times and to no avail. I haven't gotten any conversation back at all. So, I'm just really concerned about that as well. That, like I said, I appreciate everything. However, you take more into consideration the residents who actually live there and what is actually going on. Even if you came and had a conversation, I know you went out as a group, but if you come and talk to the residents, you might get a different, more understanding. And that's all my comment is. Thank you very much for all your work done.
Thank you very much.
All right, iPad user.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Donovan Potts. Live on 71 Messenger Lane. I'm not sure what the resolution was, number of the resolution, but it's about the Republic Service contract that looking to be renewed beginning of June. My question is there anything new going into that contract or anything being taken out, or is it just being renewed as is? I'm asking that just because the trash situation in Willingboro just been just flat out horrible, in my opinion, for a while now. It's pretty difficult trying to get a new trash can at your residence. I know they have the dump open Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, but sometimes it's, if someone doesn't have a truck or a van to take things up there, it's still difficult to get up there. The rules are kind of just, they're not that easy to abide by. For me, like my house is a 4-bedroom and one trash can isn't enough. They only allow a certain amount of trash bags to be taken up to the dump. So it's really just been an ongoing issue with me personally. The other people that I know that live in Willingboro also been having this problem. Like I said, it's hard trying to get an extra trash can as well. So that's kind of like my question about the new contract that's looking to be renewed June.
Okay. Thank you. We'll answer all questions after we get everyone's concerns and questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nancy Burton. I live at 35 Beechnut Lane. I also want to address the Beechnut Troy issue. It's all fine and well to say you want to put a no left sign at the high school, but who's going to enforce it? We already have a one-way in, one-way out on Beach Nut. People drive out which is, there is no room for two cars. Okay, our streets are very narrow. We literally are no parking, people park on the streets. It's all becomes an issue. The speeding, again, you put a counter and a clock on Troy, which is like a street that's maybe 300 feet long. Beach Nut is the speeding issue. That's the road that is the speeding issue. And there's people that live on the street that speed, and there are people that just speed through as a cut through. So they are issues, and I understand you're trying your best, and I know. Oh, I know, some people like it, some people don't like it, but I've lived there for 55 years. I have seen the accidents. I have seen the guy that went through the windshield. Actually, it was my buddy, a friend of mine, that went through somebody's windshield right in front of my house because I live right at a bend. So there's these two bends and people hit this bend and they just gun it from there to the next. And then when they get around that bend, they gun it again. Well, now they're gunning it until they hit Troy. So they come out of Troy, and it's really not feasible for the two cars. If somebody's coming out of Troy, you have to sit back and wait for them to get out of Troy to go on to Troy. So it's not like it's a big convenience. The issue, of course, is the speeding, and that's a problem. And we have the signage was another issue that was going to be addressed, which hasn't. No parking signs, stop signs, 'cause we
Time.
have two little wides. Oh, sorry.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Two Ys, and, people just come flying out of them side streets. They don't even stop.
All right, so we got that. Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment online?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Public comment for agenda items is now closed. Mr. Harris, can we start off? I know Ms. Brown was talking about she said 3.1 billion. I think it was 3.1 million.
So she was questioning, I believe, ordinance number 2024-06, and was asking if we were utilizing the ARP monies to facilitate that repair. And the answer to her question is yes, we are utilizing a portion of ARP monies to facilitate those repairs. Most of the ARP monies that we received in Willingboro have been apportioned to other projects, other stormwater projects. So the monies left over are going to be utilized for Charleston Road, and we will be utilizing an additional other monies that are not needed in other areas, reappropriating them to cover the additional expenses. So I didn't really catch what she was asking for 07, but 07 is, again, the reappropriating of the 125,000, which was taken from other ordinances where those monies are no longer needed and being reappropriated to cover the expense at Charleston Road. That is correct.
And Mr. Harris, would you be able to explain like a reason why those monies wouldn't be needed for the projects that they were intended?
So when we do our capital bonding, we always base our funding on what our engineers project total project costs to be. Once those projects go out to bid, quite often, or I'll say sometimes, because it's not quite often, those projects will come in lower than the anticipated costs. But we have already bonded or created bond ordinance to cover the cost. So usually that's where the additional monies come from, monies left over after the project is completed that were not utilized.
Okay, thank you.
And ordinance number 08 was reappropriating $80,000 under the same auspices from ordinances that were designed for other purposes and being reappropriated for renovations and improvements to municipal buildings, parks, and roadways, primarily the doing of the bathroom at Broido Park, which is in really bad shape. It needs a new roof, it needs new doors. So those repairs are going to cover some of those expenses. So those are things that we are discussing, what we are trying to accomplish in that area, and those are ongoing discussions, again, with the police department.
Okay. I just want to secure our investment, if we reinvest in doing those repairs, something, just to, some, maybe more surveillance or something.
Right.
All right, and I think, Ms. Brown also had a question on 141.
So
About what that was. That was
yes, so Willingboro for the longest time has been a dry community. They have had 6 plenary retail consumption licenses available for usage. The governing body has determined under certain circumstances to make those licenses available to certain vendors that would like to do business in or utilize them as part of their business in Willingboro. They have been very strict on the issuance and applications as to when those could be issued. There was a provision in the township code that would permit a golf facility to have a liquor license as long as certain criteria were met as far as the facility usage, the capacity, and all of those. The new owners at the golf course invested monies into their course to upgrade their facilities so they could become compliant with the township code in the hopes that they could obtain a liquor license that would enable them to expand the usage of their premises, like for wedding receptions and birthday parties, as well as golfing outings. And they have done all that is required, so the council is considering allowing an additional license to be issued to the golf course for their utilization. And the solicitor can expand on that in any way that she sees fit.
I think that covers the majority of it. The only other statement that I would have, I think that Mr. Harris already stated that you have the availability for 6. Only 2 have been sold at this point. And it would be for a golf course in accordance with your code provisions with a banquet facility in an R3 zoning district.
Thank you. Before we go for the Martins Beach, the roads there, can we just address the Republic Service contract?
So I believe that was Mr. Potts that was asking about the Republic Service contract. Some of the issues that Mr. Potts mentioned were not in relation to Republic Service contract. If he has issues with a trash can, he can contact our Department of Public Works. They're the ones that issue trash cans to residents on behalf or here in Willingboro. He did mention some service issues. Pretty much related to collection. There was a period of time where we had very severe service issues with Republic because of transitions in their operations. For the most part, those issues have been resolved, but there are still other issues as far as the collection of trash in Willingboro that really are not related to Republic Services. One of the things he did mention, or no, that was someone else. He did mention about bringing trash cans or garbage down to the DPW yard. They're allowed to bring 6 bags and, a certain number of recycling items, not recycling items, bulk waste items and things like that. But those are part of or have been established in the contract. And his question is whether or not the contract is remaining in contact. Yes, it is, because when the contract was bid, there was a provision for to renewals of the same contract. That's exactly why the governing body did decide to go out to bid at the expiration of this contract to see if we could get better pricing and additional services for our residents. But unfortunately, the one bid that we did receive was outrageously high. And I do not believe the residents want to pay $19 million for the collection of refuse here in Willingboro.
And then is there a direct number that Mr. Potts can call if he has trash issues or is looking for another can?
Yes, he can call our Department of Public Works. What's the number? The phone number? 609, yeah, 8777. 609 877 2200, extension 1051. That's the Department of Public Works, and they will be able to deal with your trash can issues.
Thank you very much. All right, and now on to some concerns with the Troy and Beech Nut. You know, we did get a report today, but one of the concerns is also that speeding still on Beech Nut. I know we did some stuff on Troy, but Beech Nut seems to be experiencing the speed issues.
Yes, and I understand the residents' concerns. I really, really do. But the reality is that there are speeding issues on every street in Willingboro, and that was part of our rationale of implementing the new traffic division that will be going to effect in June to deal with those speeding issues. We did set up the traffic camera to kind of monitor the situation, and I understand the concern, but we were just looking at the numbers. And although you're absolutely correct, I'm not there 24 hours a day, so I don't really know what, goes on. But the numbers do not project a high traffic volume in that area during any period of the day. I did highlight some of the hours as being the most busiest hours. But during a course of a 24-hour period, for example, between 12 a.m. and 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., on average is a 0.3 or 0.2 of a vehicle coming through during that period of time. So there's not a very high traffic volume during that period of time. After 8 a.m., between 8 and noontime, three vehicles coming through that area during that period of time. So it's not a high traffic volume issue, but it could be a speeding issue. But speeding has to be monitored and controlled by police enforcement. And unfortunately, if we were to begin blocking or boxing off roads in township that have speeding issues, you would be placing boxes in a lot of areas throughout Willingboro. And I don't know that the governing body really wants to get into that scenario. I also understand when we talk about narrow roads, narrowing road capacity in Willingboro is becoming a very major issue. And as a matter of fact, we had a conversation this morning that on some streets, it's almost impossible for a vehicle to get through on the street because you have cars parked on the left, you have cars parked on the right. I don't know how our trash collection is facilitating on some of the roads. And as a matter of fact, my concern is now that it could become a safety issue if there is an emergency, a medical emergency or a fire emergency, where our emergency vehicles will not be able to get down the street because of the number of vehicles that are parking on the street and narrowing the width of the road. So when we talk about narrow streets, they are experiencing that down in their area, and I do understand that. But again, that is an issue that is really prevalent throughout Willingboro that needs to be looked at holistically in the not too far future.
Okay, so I want to get that conversation started. But is there anything else that we can do to kind of help mitigate some of those issues, outside of closing it off some surveillance, some surveillance, or, I mean, I know we did this, our little, speed stuff, but is there something else that we can do? Because I mean, we're gonna have to make a decision on this at some point, council will. But I just want to make sure that we look under every rock to see if there's any solutions that, we can do to kind of mitigate some of it, outside of, unless, the rest of the council, but outside of closing, blocking off pieces of the street. But there has to be, I'm thinking there should be something that we can do.
Well, we are going to increase the signage, and I do know that was one of the things that we had discussed, and she was absolutely correct when she said it has not been done yet, because it has not been done yet, but it is our intention to do. And we were also considering the possibility of maybe installing a speed bump in that area. But again, that would be something that all of the residents would have to kind of be on board with. And then we would need to have our engineers look at, where they would go and how many could be placed in that area. Again, because if it's on a curve, you can't put a speed bump on a curve, and it has to be so many feet from an intersection, and all of those things need to be taken into consideration. So we have not abandoned Beech Nut or Troy Lane. I was just bringing you the preliminary report on the research that we had done as we further to look into this matter.
Councilwoman Whitfield?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Harris, would we be able to put that speed trailer on Beech Nut Lane just to get a little more holistic view on the traffic data over there, regarding the speed and things of that sort? And then also, in addition to the no left turn sign, would we be able to add maybe some local traffic only signs or something like that? No exit, something of that sort that will help deter pass-through traffic.
Absolutely. We can put the speed sign on Beech Nut Lane, and I don't believe Captain Perez is here any longer, but I will make sure that directive gets to the police department as well. When it comes to local traffic only, we can put a sign, local traffic only, but who's going to enforce that to make sure that only local people are down there? So, we can hope they respect that, but really, it's a public street, and you really can't say no one but those residents are allowed on that street.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, what about the, I know, the police department had spoken about the, it's called something else, but the police surveillance where they're kind of like, a traffic unit, like to intimidate, just by having the police vehicle there. I'm not visually picturing where this street is that she's speaking of, but maybe you know it better. In that street area that she's speaking of, is that an area that maybe a police vehicle can incorporate with whatever they've already mapped out? Because I know that they've strategically mapped out where they want to place themselves. What do you think about that, adding that?
Absolutely. And again, I believe when they did their presentation to the body a few weeks ago, that was one of the issues that Captain Bucks did, or Captain Perez did highlight, enforcement of the speeding issues on Beech Nut and Troy Lane, as well as the monitoring of the traffic flow out of the high school.
Oh, it was there?
Yes.
Okay.
During that time, correct.
Yeah, I think that probably be helpful, because once it becomes a point of place that people regularly see a police officer
Correct.
kind of sitting there, they'll just remember, okay, we're gonna get to that corner, let's slow down. But just as to Madam Mayor's question, if something we could do temporarily, since we've already agreed to that process of the surveillance with the police department, right? We voted on
Right.
that last week. So maybe just putting that in as well.
Absolutely.
We'll circle back to that conversation. I mean, we have to do something, but to your point, I mean, it's a public street, so we have to keep that in mind. I think that has to be kept in mind. But it is one of the smaller streets.
Right.
And if people are not abiding by the one way, we have to change something over there.
And if that's the ultimate decision to make it a completely a one-way street, then,
Or whatever it was, or whatever, however we have to.
right.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else for public comment? Right, we move on to the.
Okay. Would you like me to open the public hearing? I'm opening the public hearing on ordinance 24-06. Did you want me to read the title as well? Okay. Ordinance amending section 1 of bond ordinance 2022-6 of the township of Willingboro in the county of Burlington, New Jersey, finally adopted June 21st, 2022, in order to amend the description of the project to include Charleston Road. Did anybody want to speak? With no one coming forward, I close the public hearing. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
By Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Okay, now ordinance 2407, ordinance of the Township of Willingboro and the County of Burlington, New Jersey, providing for the reappropriation of $125,000 in unused debt authorizations not needed for their original purposes in order to provide for stormwater project for Charleston Road culvert. Would anybody like to come forward? With no one coming forward, I close the public hearing. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2408, ordinance of the Township of Willingboro in the County of Burlington, New Jersey, providing for the reappropriation of $80,603.01, $78,103.01 of proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes, and $2,500 from the Capital Improvement Fund in order to provide for the renovation improvements to municipal buildings, parks, and roadways. Would anybody like to come forward? With no one coming forward, I close the public hearing. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for a consent agenda for resolutions 2024-136 through 146 and resolution 2021-177B.
Can you, I have two, if you can just, pull, I just have two questions. Oh, you want to do the motion first?
Which one you want to pull?
I
have a
one-
motion. I withdraw my motion.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, 144. And, I guess 146. I thought you said there's no executive session. The 146, is
Oh,
that for
sorry,
today?
I forgot.
You taking that off?
Can't put it in, I'm not gonna put it
Okay. So that was
in. So
only
just
two.
144?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I make a motion for a consent agenda of resolution 2024-136 through 143 and resolution 2024-145 and resolution 2021-177B.
So moved?
I got it.
Oh, second. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I always do that.
Moved by McIntosh, seconded by Perone. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Second?
Moved by McIntosh, seconded by Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Resolution 2024-144.
Mhm. Um,
You can make a
was there a
motion.
question?
Yes, I have a, well,
The motion, I make a motion for 2024-144.
so moved.
Second? Oh, you made the motion.
Yeah.
Second,
by
I'm
McIntosh.
second, yeah.
Second by Perone. Discussion, please.
Thank you. This is just a correction I wanted for the record. It does say, June 2022, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. with the rain date of June 24th, 2023. Just want to make sure that that is, that date is revised to 2024. We're speaking of this
Mhm.
coming up, right?
Mhm.
That was just some clarity on those two dates, that I just noticed during this meeting.
Thank you.
So, and that June 7th is my birthday. Thank you. But no, that was it.
Okay, so we'll make that correct. So we'll approve it
Mhm.
with those corrections?
Yeah, with those corrections.
Okay.
I believe it was updated with the corrections electronically. It might have
Okay.
just been an old. packet.
Oh, okay.
My apologies.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay. Move on to treasurer's report. Do we have a treasurer's? See that? We have a treasurer's?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did. see
Mm.
that. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Are you presenting minutes?
I am not.
Okay. So we can scratch, we're gonna do the approval of the minutes at the next meeting. There were just some minor corrections or minor, not even correction, but
Mhm.
just, trying to make sure we have the format correct. All right, we'll move on to municipal clerk updates. We're on Mr. Fault.
All right. So the polling machines will be transported to the library tomorrow. So we will have early voting here in Willingboro Township, which is open to all residents of Burlington County. The voting will take place from Wednesday, May 29th through Sunday, through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, June 2nd, wrote down the first, I apologize, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So any resident in Burlington County can vote at the library. The primary election will be on June 4th, and those hours are from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So everybody will have the opportunity to vote if they so choose. I believe that's everything with regard to the election. With regard to licensing, we did hold our annual clinic on Wednesday, May 8th. It was very successful. It ran from the early afternoon through 7 p.m. We had 31 dog license issued. And 119 dogs were vaccinated. So that's important because dogs have to be vaccinated through November of that licensing year. We're going to be looking into moving the rabies clinic to November, December, or January, depending. Dog licenses have to be They have to be attained by January 31st. But again, the rabies vaccination has to be good through November. So doing the clinic in May doesn't make a lot of sense. So we want to change that moving forward. So that was incredibly successful. Other than that, I'll be looking to do some records disposition. We have a lot of opportunity in the borough, in the township. So I was looking to do a shred event. And usually I open that up to the public, but I will talk to the manager about that. I did receive correspondence from a individual who was looking to create a handicap spot in front of their house. I did forward the correspondence to the police chief just to get his opinion on it. He did not agree with the request for a number of reasons, but they did have enough room in their driveway for the vehicles that were there. One of the two vehicles with the handicap placard that was parked in the driveway was not registered at that township. So right now, there's one car at that particular residence that's registered there. So it's the recommendation that we don't proceed with a handicap spot.
Okay.
And that's my update. If anybody has any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Are there any matters for unfinished business?
Mr. Harris, I was wondering if there was any update or any research done on the trash receptacles, either at the bus stops in the township.
Yes, we are identifying those locations where those trash receptacles are going to go, and then trying to identify the best type of receptacle to place in those locations.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Harris, can you give me an update on the deadline that you need council's input for the capital budget?
Thank you, Mayor, for mentioning that. We would like to prepare the documents for our capital budget. I believe we were going to talk about them next week. So if you could give us your final input by Friday of next week, that would be most appreciated.
Okay. Thank you. And then I just have a question for my council colleagues. In terms of Memorial Day on May 30th for the county, I just wanted to know who was going to attend. I just need to give them an update. I didn't know if anybody was available. I think it's 11 a.m. I did get Dr. Worthy's response.
I plan on attending.
Okay. Anyone else? We're good? All right, so then, Deputy Mayor too. Okay, thank you. Anyone else for unfinished business? Anything for new business? Okay, moving on to public comment. Public comment is now open. If you have any questions or concerns, please state your name and address for the record. You have 4 minutes. Public comment is now open.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council, staff, and neighbors. Pat Lindsay Harvey, Hadley Lane. I have some exciting news from the MUA. It's a project that we've been working on for quite some time. And last month, we were approved by the Department of Labor for a pre-apprenticeship water industry program for students 13 to 18. And it's the first program of its type in the country. We are working with the school district to put this program in Willingboro, excuse me, Willingboro High School. So we're really very, very excited about it. We were excited to know that we are the first ones in the country to do a program like this to prepare our children for the water industry. Because the industry is, for lack of a better word, diversity challenged. And most of the people in this industry are aging out. They are retiring. There's been a mass retiring probably around 2030. and this is a perfect opportunity for our children to get in the industry. One thing that's gonna happen with this program is that the students go through the program over the course of the 4 years. They will get a certification from the Department of Labor. Those credits are good for a lifetime. They can take those credits anywhere in the country to any water supplier. With this program, if they, stay with the program, they will be able to work. When they graduate, they only have to work 6 months to be able to sit for their state license to get a license. Whereas normally, if they graduate, it would take them 2 years. So they can get a license much quicker and get in the industry. So that's all I wanted to tell you. No, yes, it's a while to go.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Barbara Williams and I live in Rittenhouse Park. I assure you, I am as unhappy as you are to be present tonight. And at this meeting, which is redundant, as well as uncalled for, if only certain of your employees would do their job. I'm here again to complain about your township manager, Dwayne Harris, who has intentionally failed to provide both Rittenhouse Park and Fairmont Park our due recycling bins. The single-family homes received theirs in 2005 and 2006, and unlike us, you did not require them to ask for them. Just like them, we pay our taxes, which cover the trash bins and the recycling bins. I repeat, the single-family homes have had theirs since 2005 and 2006, and per the former acting township manager, Richard Provogel, ours were due to be issued March 2019 to 2022. We are now 2 years overdue. Your township manager, and I stress your township manager, doesn't want to do his job and has failed to adequately serve our entitled rights. He is paid a hefty salary of $130,000 per year to address and service all township residents accordingly. He has made it abundantly clear he is biased and even fabricates to avoid giving us services that we are entitled to. He lacks integrity, respect, consideration, loyalty, and commitment, which are all qualities a qualified town manager and all of you should have as a requirement for your positions. Your township manager has made it clear he does not like me, and I really don't care, as long as it doesn't affect his job performance. He was confrontational with me at the recent HOA meeting we had on May 15th, when I simply asked when the recycling bins would be issued on the recent list that I gave Mrs. Jackson. I gave her the list since many of the residents complained they called and received no callbacks. He responded that they had to call him if they wanted one. He proceeded to walk away when I reiterated they did call. And he told me, after I had mentioned it took me a phone call to Action News before he responded, he said, call him again. And furthermore, he did not care what Mr. Provogel said. So now I am asking you, Mayor, to follow up on this matter and let us know soon what's going on. I also have some additional matters to discuss because you had a few people present, including him at that HOH meeting, and there was some misinformation that was given. And I think there should be another meeting because you still don't understand the HOA and the services they provide, which are very limited. So I'm sorry to say, some people, I thought there would be some here, but short notice they couldn't make it here. But there are people who do want to speak up too, because they're not happy.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Is there any, Mr. Johnson, come on.
Good evening, Gary Johnson, 54 Gramercy Lane. I told somebody that is near dear to me that I would bring this up this evening. But during the repaving of Veterans Parkway, I altered my route to work so that I avoided Veterans Parkway. I have since decided I would brave Veterans Parkway and use that route again. And the last couple of mornings, I've seen something a bit disturbing. Going in the direction you would go from Martin Luther King to Charleston Road, and then proceed to make a left-hand turn, which I do on my way to work, there is a left turn arrow that is supposed to come on immediately when the light changes for a short period of time. That light has not been coming on. It remains red. And it appears that most of us who are going to work aren't inclined to wait to see if it will ever turn green. And so when we deem it safe, we're making the turn on a red left turn arrow, which is probably not a good situation. So I'm not sure why that is and whether that has been since the repaving has been done or what, but the light is theoretically supposed to come on immediately when the light changes back green for Veterans Parkway, and it doesn't seem to be doing that right now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Kelly Miller, 11 Hollis Lane, Willingboro. I want to thank you, council, for receiving the grant money for the pickleball courts. I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
John Burton, 35 Beech Nut Lane. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mayor, I don't believe you were here, so maybe just go back.
I looked at it, yeah.
The last meeting when everyone was here,
Mhm.
you know, all this has come from the box, the flower boxes at Troy being removed during some water, MUA stuff. And that's what started all this.
Okay.
Just real quick, I don't believe where we are probably, and I would bet on the lowest street in town. So we do have water problem issues. I don't believe any speed bumps are going to be applicable there. Blocking the water, can cause a lot of flooding in driveways and things like that. The signage, if the no parking signs and some speed signs and the no turn, and of course, the chief would know better than me about, you know, a car at JFK down at the end by the barricade at the Rancocas, after school or something might prevent some of the kids. I know a lot of the speeding is the younger drivers. Anything we get done is going to be greatly appreciated. You know, used to be able to walk there. A lot of the locals from Twin Hills would walk. They just from talking to them, they do not feel safe walking on the street anymore. It was a nice quiet walk for them. They could go between the boxes and walk from Twin Hills in there. At the park the other day, and don't hold me to this, I believe, I'm not sure how it happened, but one of the flagpoles is down. It may be the POW MIA flagpole, which would be a shame if we don't have that up for Memorial Day. The only other item is at Pine and JFK, the water company was, you know, MUA was down there. It is really starting to buckle again. So I don't know if there's still water leakage or it's just settling or something like that. Somebody should check up on that.
That was Pine and JFK?
Yeah, Pine. So it's just past the it's our jug handle.
Yes.
To come out of Beech Nut.
Mm-hmm.
Pine is on the other side, but it's also the jug handle there.
Okay. No, thank you for that.
Okay, that's it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Host, can you allow whoever's online?
Yes, Mayor. Maddie Mallory.
Good evening, Maddie Mallory on Hudson Place. And I got on late, so I just want to make sure that the discussion about the culvert on Charleston Road is the same issue that I mentioned at the last meeting about the blockage there. The other thing is we have a fox problem in town, and I don't know what we can do about it. My neighbor called me Sunday and said Sunday morning when she was having her breakfast and looked out of her sliding door, there were 5 foxes on our property, on hers, mine, and the house next door. And last Thursday night, Friday morning after midnight, I heard this noise and I thought it was a human being screaming for help. And I looked out my window and there was a fox on my driveway. And I've never heard them make that kind of noise. So I called Animal Control on Friday morning to find out if they had any suggestions as to how we can deal with this problem. But, you know, hopefully someone can tell us what we can do, because it's scary to know that we have this many animals on our property. So the other thing is, I'd like to know if there's any progress with securing the position of the Veteran Service Officer. And I'd like to know if there's any progress with activating the Ethics Commission. I realize that, you know, you have to have diversity as far as the members, but just want to know if there's any effort being put forth to make sure that we can have this commission in place. On the issue of narrow streets, I noticed on Charleston Road, especially from my street, Hudson, going to Van Sciver, a lot of the residents are now parking on the apron in front of their property. And again, you know, we have regulations about parking in, you know, in town. And I guess they're doing this because, again, the speeding on Charleston Road, and they're trying to protect their vehicles. So, you know, we need to either enforce parking or do something about the speeding on Charleston Road. And I think that's what I have for this evening. So have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Mallory.
Okay, call-in listener ending in 7297.
If you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Oh, hi, this is Jacqueline Mack. Sorry, my fingers aren't working right tonight. 70 Maplewood Lane. I have a couple of things I wanted to bring up. I was at the Kennedy Center today for the ID, license. And I happened to be waiting in the reception room, and I noticed something. There was a beautiful little patio right outside the reception room. It's in need of some help. Maybe Public Works can do that. And or maybe they're even, that's supposed to be something that Rutgers, I think, was trying to work on the entrance to the school. And there's a garden there and it has some bushes in it, but the ground doesn't look very good. It looks like it should have some ground cover or some flowers, which I also noticed, by the way, that the sign out in front of the Kennedy Center has some newly planted flowers, and that's wonderful. As is, it's good to see the flowers being planted in the boxes. So maybe we can put that all together. And I understand that we have a lot of groups using the Kennedy Center this summer. So it would be nice to have it look especially great. Of course, the other thing is the street in front of the walkway. It was full of cigarette butts today. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be doing over there and not to be smoking around schools. So that, along with the speeding, seems to be a problem. However, with the speeding in town, I look at our adjoining communities, West Hampton and Rancocas, and going from Burlington Township into Burlington City. You don't speed going through those towns. I swear, I don't know where the policemen sit, but I'm sure you learned the lesson once and don't have to remember. You remind yourself always slow down when you go in those places. So maybe with more police surveillance at some of these spots, it would help. I'm not sure what the answer is. People just love to go fast. Life is too short to be going so fast. So anyhow, I would like to end by saying I'm glad to hear that the emergency management team is in place, and Jim Anderson will do a great job. He was a good student under John Carroll, who also did a wonderful job, but I know John has had it a lot of years, so Jim, I'm sure, will do a fine job. And thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Mack.
You're welcome.
Okay, Brown.
Good evening. Sharon Brown, 78 Executive Lane. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, and Willenboro resident. I want to give a shout out to the volunteers at the Mill Creek who helped with the free rabies and vaccination, and also for the police present. And I want to thank the police officer, the EMS, and the fire department for their service. And thank Mr. Harris for his thorough report. I would like to ask Mr. Anderson, Deputy Mayor, if he is exonerated of the charges. I would like to talk more about the traffic safety because I'm a Black woman with 3 Black adult sons. More states already adopt policy limited police stop for minor infrastructures. We are tough on traffic laws. There are often other ways to do this. I remember that we will stop our young adults, which is most of them are male. Those are the ones that's speeding, by the way. What else can we do? We can educate them. We can implement policy for defensive driving course in Willenboro with a mandate of renewing every year between 16 and 25. We can also have permanent speed sign, which is implemented in West Hampton. Permanent radar speed sign, also called driver's feedback sign, and they're posted mounted sign installed on the side of the road that use radar to sense an oncoming vehicle. Speed and display that also display the speed would help them slow down as well. Their service as visual and their reminders to slow down. We can request one with built into the camera. We can also request cameras on them as well. Also, we can have speed bumpers at every school entrance and exit. We can place bumpers in area that gets higher pedestrian traffic and place speed bumpers can hinder speed in vehicle before crossing. This helps prevent accident by a large margin. This can be a permanent solution without asking additional money to give out for more resources when times for increase. Knowledge is the power. We have to educate our children and the young adults when they're stopping and how they're supposed to respond. Now also I want to go into sharing service. Sharing service has a save money for New Jersey local government. In 2020, New Jersey was slammed by COVID. Share service will drive down property tax. Governor Murphy is serious about share service. And you can ask someone from his cabinet to come and talk to Willenboro about it. More about share service. It's happening in other townships. Do your research. New Jersey local government and all continue to have that. Consolidate of school district, municipal court. Sharing service has saved money for New Jersey local government. Share equal service in the Garden State. Share services to reduce costs and limit property tax increase. I would like to ask anybody on the elected panel is anybody thinking about going to Washington? We can see that our township is great improved because of these people on the council, and I can see it for myself. The past elected official, which was council, was there mostly. They was mostly personal interest. Now I see that y'all are working very hard, and we can go around the township and see that. And I would gladly appreciate that. I can say new elected officials have been fighting for residents, have good plans for the Willenboro. There's a lot of misinformation that is spreading about Willenboro Connect, which is a great idea. It's resourceful and it's very helpful. It's knowledge, is increased reproductive, better access to information about Willenboro. Can we include in the Willenboro Connect footnotes of where the information is coming? Because other people are saying it's for advertisement, which I don't believe. We also say misinformation, fraud, advertisement, which I just said. I wanted to present something. We need to have a Black Woman Health Summit annually. I want to give a shout out to Angela Bess. Oh, go ahead, move forward. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
All right. Tarina Williams.
Thank you. Serena Williams, 8 Botany Circle. Good evening, Mayor McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councilman Perone, Councilman Whitfield, Councilman Dr. Tiffany Worthy, Township Manager Harris, Mr. Fault, Township Clerk, Ms. Jackson, and fellow residents. I first want to say thank you for today's proclamation for Lupus Awareness Month. It's greatly appreciated. Yesterday was the National Lupus Advocacy Summit in Washington, D.C., and today was a special march on Capitol Hill to help promote and spread lupus awareness. So it's greatly appreciated that things are being done nationally, right there at our Capitol, and then here locally. So greatly appreciated. Each voice makes a strong difference for years to come. Special thanks also to the Mental Health Association in New Jersey in partnership with the Willingboro Public Library and the police department. They hosted a virtual youth QPR training that was so informative last Thursday. I learned about it through Officer Landrum. So I just want to say thanks to Officer Landrum and the rest of the department for the great work that you're doing, outside of course helping to protect our community. And I'm just really inspired by all the community outreach activities that the police department does. Last week was National Police Week. So special thanks to the police department for the great work that you're doing. In addition to them, we have the EMT and the fire department. Last time I didn't get to give them a shout out, so I just want to take this time to say special thanks for all your hard work that you do for our community. Speaking of community, I believe that every single person, while they may have a different office, shares love and commitment and service. So we should never talk down upon people. While we may have a different outlook on a person, we should all know as Willingboro residents, we all share a love for our community. So I want to say special thanks to Mr. Harris for all your hard work. You give thorough reports, and I really admire the great work that you're doing as you work individually and collectively as a body with our dedicated council members. In the interest of time, I want to say congrats to Jordan L. Witherspoon. I'm just in awe about the great work that you're doing. I really wish you were in my science class when I was in school to hear an associate degree at such a young age. You're a true embodiment of that we can be great at any age. So may God continue to richly bless you as he has great plans for you. Shout out to your parents as well for the great work that they've been doing with you. The Beloved Project under Miss Archer has a new location, so just want to say congratulations to her and her organization for all the great things that they do. We are truly blessed to be residents of the community, where we all share the desire to live, love, and serve. Thank you so much for your time. May God richly bless you and your family.
Okay, Beulah Williams.
Good evening, Mayor McIntosh, Deputy Mayor, Council, Mr. Harris, our new clerk, fellow members. This is Beulah Williams from 8 Botany Circle. My daughter was so succinct. I'm so proud of her. She said everything I wanted to say. But I want to confirm how I appreciate our mayor, our deputy, the council, the clerk, and everyone. You're just so focused on working for your community, of which I'm one. So I appreciate all of your hard work. Don't think that we don't notice your hard work. You have caring hearts for your community, and that's a good thing. So may God continue to bless you. Mr. Turnstile, please forgive me mispronouncing your name. Miss Conrad, our new clerk, was helpful to me. I called for information and they were just right on target in response and so on. So, and Tarina, of course, mentioned the young man. I'm so proud of the 16-year-old. Very good. God bless you. Keep up the awesome work. And as my daughter said, the Lord has special plans for you and all our young people. My 3 children also went through Willingboro Public Schools and did well. So, you know, I have nothing bad to say about our public schools. If our parents are very interactive and watch what their children do and, you know, present themselves, they will all do well as well. So kudos for our children, for our teachers, for our council. I think that is it. Oh, the EMS and the fire department always praise the police department, which they deserve. But sometimes I forget about EMS and the fire department, and they're doing awesome work as well. So may God continue to bless all of you as you work for the betterment of our great community, the Willingboro Township. God bless you and thank you so much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Anyone else online? Post?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is now closed. All right. First, I want to just thank Miss Patricia Lindsay Harvey. I think this apprenticeship is awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about it and the progress of it, and make sure we all stay informed and actually, push our youth in that direction. So I thank you for bringing that to our attention. Miss Barbara Williams from Rittenhouse. Mr. Harris, can you give us an update on the HOA meeting? I know there was a meeting, I believe, last week.
So there was a meeting at the Rittenhouse Homeowners Association. They did request that Mr. Tunstall from the Inspections Department and, what's his name? I'm gonna mess it up. Sean Scribbins, is that it? Scribbins, I tried, I'm sorry. Attend that meeting, and I also decided to attend that meeting just to hear some of the conversations and some of the issues or the concerns of the residents in Rittenhouse Square. It was a very productive meeting. It lasted for, I don't know how long, but I believe they gave us about 20, 30 minutes to address some of the issues that the development was questioning. We talk about things about snow plowing and about sidewalks and whose responsibilities different things were. And we did have a conversation about the trash cans, the recycling cans. And as I stated at the HOA meeting, there was a lot of conversation about regarding conversations that were had prior to my tenure, things that I've been told about different conversations with the recycling company about the cans and the cans that were coming or allegedly promised. There were different persons at the county at that time that are not there now. And what I was trying to explain to the homeowners association that although I do not diminish those conversations, but we have had subsequent conversations in understanding and have come to agreements regarding the recycling carts. And those are the policies that we are going to be moving forward in implementing. If a resident in Rittenhouse desires to have a blue recycling cart, then all they need to do is request one, and we will supply it to them as they become available. This township, over a period of time, has spent $1.3 million on blue recycling carts. So we are getting carts, we are distributing carts at a very large number, but we did make a decision to have one size cart instead of some wanting smaller carts, some wanting larger carts. Because we just wanted to be consistent with it throughout the township, as Ms. Williams was remarking. So that was the decision, that was the administrative decision that was made and was communicated to the residents at Rittenhouse Square. And most of them were receptive to that. Now, Ms. Williams did come by my office, I believe it was 4:45 on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, and did leave me a list of just names. And some names people wanted large carts, some names people wanted smaller carts. It was just a list. And I did take that list and I provided it to our Department of Public Works, and our Department of Public Works has mailed out an application to every individual that was on that list. And if they wanted a cart, all they need to do was fill it out and send it back to DPW, and we will make arrangements to deliver to them a blue cart when blue carts are available. Ms. Williams stated that I do not like her. I have no reason not to dislike her. I really have no regard for her. And I believe that she says that I was confrontational and walked away. She is correct that I did walk away because as I was leaving the meeting, Ms. Williams decided she wanted to follow me and continue to express her feelings about the recycling carts, me and my performance here in Willingboro, and I was not going to engage in that type of dialogue at that time. So that is the situation with the trash carts. And if the HOA Association desires to have us come back to another meeting, we will be more than happy to do so, but we do not organize and schedule those meetings. That's their association that handles those.
And can I just ask you, how many people were on this list? And have you been getting replies back from, 'cause is the application cumbersome?
No, it's not. And really the reason for the application is just to get an acknowledgement that they, as the resident, would be responsible for making sure that the carts are placed in the proper location, understanding that our collection services will not be responsible for locating the carts if they're not properly placed, that the homeowners are going to be required to store the carts in accordance with the township ordinances, and that they are aware of all of those requirements above and beyond just receiving the blue cart.
All right. And we're only offering the big carts, is what you're saying? We're not
Yes.
offering smaller carts. Are the big carts able to go on the sides or in the backyards of some Rittenhouse properties?
Are they able to go into
Are they able to be, because since they can't be in the front, are they able to be transported to the back?
Yes, and just the way that the property is designed, for some folks, it will be more convenient than others. But yes, they are.
I can speak as a resident there. The large carts don't necessarily fit into the back gates. It is difficult to fit the large carts in the back gates. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Yes. go ahead.
With regards to Rittenhouse, as far as those that receive, I mean, at this point, everyone should have received the trash can. And then to Councilman Whitfield's point of knowing that some of the trash cans can't, I don't know what it looks like back there. Can we do like an inventory on making sure that those who need the smaller cans in Rittenhouse have them? I'm not sure what.
We do still have the yellow recycling receptacles that many people use in Rittenhouse. So those ones do fit in the back area, and we still use those ones.
So I thought that.
But some residents are requesting the larger
Oh, this is, okay.
blue
these are-
receptacles, the blue recycling receptacles.
Okay, let me ask a question. The yellow bins you're speaking of, are these the ones that the machine picks up?
No, the yellow recycling bins, the.
Yeah, the regular. Okay,
Mhm.
so how is the truck picking them up then?
They just pick them up.
They're doing it manually for Rittenhouse.
County did it.
It's the county.
Oh, so the county's doing it manually? Okay.
They're able in Rittenhouse and Fairmount.
They're doing,
If-
oh,
if
okay.
needed.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
And outside of our recent communications with Ms. Williams, there hasn't been a large demand or a request for large recycling carts or transitional recycling carts in Rittenhouse.
Right. Now, I think that's my question and my concern. Is there are people calling up? Has the list been extensive? I can't
don't-
talk to you. I can't, public comment is over, Ms. Williams.
I don't know how many persons were on that list, but I do know that the list was transposed and every individual name that was on that list was mailed an application today.
Okay.
So I don't know who's going to respond. We will wait and see.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson had some concerns on the left lights for Veterans Parkway.
So that issue was reported by Captain Bucks after the last meeting, and he was relayed by the county that that issue had been fixed. I was at that traffic light today, and I didn't notice a delay in the green turn signal. So I will ask Captain Bucks to follow up with that again tomorrow.
Okay. Ms. Miller was giving kudos for the pickleball investment. Mr. Burton had some concerns, with some maybe potential flooding. And there's some flag poles are down. Can we just check that out and make sure?
So the flagpole that he is referring to is a flagpole that was damaged a while ago in Mill Creek Park. And it has taken a while for the vendor to be able to come and fix that pole, but that pole is actually scheduled to be replaced tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
So I am hoping that will be completed, and I know, Mr. Thompson in our DPW has ordered new POW flags for that pole, so I'm hoping that it will be repaired and in place, by Memorial Day.
Yeah, please. Also, in terms of the potential flooding, when we're looking at the speed bumps, that may be something that we need to consider.
Right, that he was saying that if we put speed bumps there, that
May,
could cause
yeah.
a flooding problem, but that would, something would be, again, looked at through engineering.
And also, can we check out, I know he said there was some MUA work being done at the intersection of Pine and JFK, some buckling. Can we check that out
Yes.
also? All right. And Miss Mallory, any updates on the culvert for Charleston Road?
So you did award that contract tonight. We are going to transfer that information to the engineer tomorrow, and they will have that contractor get on that project ASAP.
Okay, perfect. She also did indicate, the increase in fox population. I think that's happening all throughout Willingboro due to some development surrounding Willingboro. It's getting rid of some of our wildlife, our forest areas. So that isn't something that we may have to just look into. I did have conversations with the Environmental Protection Agency concerning that, because they're not there, at the meetings when they're doing the planning. So, I did ask for their input on how to mitigate some of that, because I do have the same issue in my neighborhood because of the development in West Hampton. Foxes and different wildlife coming out, and I don't think we want to get in the habit of just killing wildlife because they don't have a habitat.
Right.
But just putting some extra precautions in for our residents, considering the foxes. I did see some foxes. Miss Mallory also brought up, our intentions with the Ethics Commission. And I'll speak for myself, and any other council member can chime in. But at this time, I don't have the interest in investing into the Ethics Board. We haven't had it in years, in decades, I'll say. And there is a provision, for the county and municipal boards through the local finance board. So it's not that if we don't have an ethical board that, certain ethical issues can't go before them. So for me, I'm not interested in making that investment in terms of extra legal, a whole nother set of money to form that board, but that's just my opinion. And I don't remember and just to put things in perspective, how many municipalities have ethics boards? The majority of municipalities do not have ethics boards, 5%. And so at this time, unless, the majority of council wants that, I'm not interested in pursuing it at this moment. If anybody else has something, Councilwoman Perone?
Okay, I have two things. One, just with the flagpole,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. With the flagpole, if we don't get it up, can we just have someone move it out of safety's way? Because I know we're drawing a crowd there for Memorial Day. So I know you said that you're hoping that they get the pole up
One
because you
is
have a
in,
flag.
this is in
Is
Martins
it-
Beach, right?
Oh, this is not the
No,
one in Millcreek
It's
Park?
in Mill Creek.
Oh,
Right by the
I
flag.
apologize.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw it. It's
It's
right
in
by
the
the
flower
flag.
bed
Okay,
right there at
gotcha.
the entrance.
Is there a way to move it from? I just remember where it was before. This was a few months ago. I don't know if it's still there, but it just seems like it's dangerous to have it there if we're gonna draw a crowd there.
Acknowledge.
That's just a suggestion. With the ethics board, the ethics board is it's like a buffer to the local ethics board. Local ethics board, you're taking things basically to the courts. This is more of governing our municipal in a professional and peaceful way, so to speak. The only expense that there would be is to have a legal attorney represented during, I guess, some of the meetings, just like we have with some of our other boards. we do have and have had legalities whereby our attorneys were called in for basic, simple nuances in some cases, and some of them were real cases that were needed. We needed attorney representation, and so our legal fees are at a high because we have to call in our labor attorney, our special attorney. And so when we talk about whether or not we want to invest in it, this is actually a way to keep our legal expenses down. So I find that having the ethics board um, is um, is a key essential group, which, by the way, already exists. This is not something that we have to create. I did receive the legal opinion from our solicitor. I had gotten it recently, but I saw that it was written in February. And she stated, I can read it, just one sentence here. Essentially, if a town does not have an ethics board, the function is served by the LFB, Local Finance Board acronym. However, if the municipality has a municipal ethics board, the municipal board is essentially a jurisdiction and appeals go through the ethics board. So there's more it says on here, but just so that you understand where I'm coming from and how I see that it is a beneficial group for us. And lastly, I will close here. 3 people did apply. And the part that I find insulting to our residents is that we have these boards and then we want to pick and choose onto which ones we want to open our eyes or close our eyes to their applications. And I feel that that's a slap in the face because none of us would want to feel that if we apply to a board that it's already existing, which this board does, and we ignore them. And I believe you were out of town that meeting, Madam Mayor. But that's what I was trying to bring up at that meeting, that we have applicants. Let's not dismiss them as if they are less of a people than us. So in closing, that's what I want to say about that. This does not cost us any money. It actually saves us money. And I think we should acknowledge the 3 people that did apply, which is Miss Mally Mattery, she spoke tonight, Miss Stephanie Knock, and Mr. Kim Brantley. These are 3 residents that applied to that commission, and they applied back in, I think it was January. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Before I answer, does anybody else have any input?
I hear what you're saying, Councilwoman Perone. And thank you for the residents that have applied, to all of our boards and commissions. We appreciate your desire to serve the Township of Willingboro. But I have also talked to other elected officials throughout the state on the status of ethics boards. In my research, I have found that it has added a significant expense to the township because there is required legal representation at all of their meetings, as well as it wouldn't eliminate any of our labor attorney's work or our special attorney's work for issues that will go through them. So for those reasons, and because of the research that I found through talking with other elected officials throughout the state, I am not in support of appointing people to the ethics committee.
Anyone else?
Yes, so based on piggybacking off of what my colleagues have indicated, it is and will be an additional expense, not to mention that only 5% of the 566 municipalities engage with an ethics board. And any decisions that come have to go through the finance board anyway. So if there's any decision, because the board itself can't make a final decision, it would still have to go to the ethics board. So at that point, what is the sense in us wasting funds on attorneys and fees when there can be no final remedy at this local level? So for that, I don't support having it at the additional expense.
Just real quick, thank you both for your comments, and, there is more information that's involved, but yes, Councilman Anderson, you are not correct, whereas by, there are certain things that cannot be voted at that board. That's why they exist. So not everything needs to be upscale to the, LFB. So that part, I wanted just to clarify that part. The ethics board, if they were appointed, can make decisions and vote and solve things amongst yourself. That's basically what you're doing. You're solving your issues in-house amongst yourselves without taking it to the streets, so to speak, outside of your house. But that's it. I mean, again, I find that this conversation is appreciative because for me, at the end of the day, we are all individually equally one council member of this board. So having a discussion on whether we agree or not, I'm fine with. And just again, speaking to the residents so they know that we're not just ignoring them. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Thank you, everyone. Okay, also the veteran services.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
still in
service officer.
discussion, the veteran service officer.
Correct.
Just wanna, can you expand?
So we are in discussions about some administrative restructuring in the township. Veteran Services was part of that conversation. We are doing some research as to how we are going to move with those operations, and no final determinations have been made as of yet.
Right. And just for your information, we are going to be engaging with the federal to see the best way to accommodate our veterans and what Willingboro will be responsible for or not. So we are reaching out. We're just awaiting dates for a meeting with the federal veteran services
Awesome.
to get their input on how to assist our military people.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Also, Miss Mallory indicated some speeding on Charleston still. She had said that last meeting also. So I know we're getting our traffic units together. All right, Miss Mack. Miss Mack had some concerns about the patio room outside the reception area.
So as you go into the jail, and I believe this is the area that she's talking about, as you go into the JFK Center, you go to the banquet hall. On the right-hand side, there is a little patio area out there that is a little overgrown and does need some attention. So I will bring that to the attention of our Public Works, and we'll see if we can get it cleaned up a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Or trim.
And also, Ms. Mack also did indicate some issues with speeding in Willingboro, so I think that's starting to come up quite a bit. Ms. Brown first gave kudos to, our police department, clerk's office, EMS. From what I got from her public comment was some concern over being too tough in our policing for traffic, considering, quote, she said, Black men do the speeding.
Yeah, I understand that, what she was referring to, and I think, and maybe Captain Perez will be comfortable with saying just a few, remarks, about that.
Right.
The Attorney General in the state of New Jersey really is the one that kind of dictates policies and procedures regarding police departments and things that they do. And, they are not as free to do policing work as they used to, and part of that includes pulling over vehicles. So at this point, I will turn it over to Captain Perez, who can explain a little bit about that, some of the difficulties when it comes to speeding issues and the reality of speeding, not only here in Willingboro, but the perception that our neighboring communities have no speeding issues. That's a little false. But go ahead and enlighten us, sir, if you don't mind.
Good evening, City Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So we train and direct our officers to focus on distracted drivers, speeders, and aggressive drivers, which we feel out of the the majority of our accidents come from those type of drivers, so that's what we focus on. So I understand her concerns about trivial car stops, but that's what we focus on. We focus on the stuff that makes a difference with the safety of our citizens in Willingboro, and that would be those type of drivers. So that's what we focus on. City Council was wise enough last meeting to approve the traffic safety unit. And with that unit, we'll be able to place them at strategic points within the town to dissuade and deter that type of behavior. So that's what we're gonna have in place that goes into effect July 1st. And hopefully by then we'll stop getting so many complaints. But again, the perception that some towns have, I guess, a higher presence on a roadway, that in a sense is true because again, they have lesser call volume than we do. Like I said last time, we have the highest call volume in the county, about 36,000 calls per year. So we focus our attention now on 911 calls and the safety of our residents in those type of situations. But with the inception of this traffic unit, we'll be able to put more bodies on the street to focus primarily on the road safety, motor vehicle accidents, and that'll be able to address those issues as they pop up, not just on the major roadways, but as issues come, like, for example, on Beechnut Lane. So Mr. Burton, I think he left, but I just talked to him in the back and he pinpointed the area on Beechnut Lane by Troy where there was an issue. So immediately I just text my lieutenant and said, tomorrow during school hours, I want an officer placed there to deter and to address the situation. So that's how our traffic unit is going to be deployed. So as soon as we get the intelligence, it's going to be acted upon immediately. So hopefully that will change the culture, the driving culture coming through our town, where we have a constant presence of 4 to 5 officers on those major thoroughfares coming through town. I hope that answered the question.
Appreciate that. Mr. Laurie left. I wanted him just to briefly say something about Connect. And Ms. Brown did mention something about Black Women's Summit. Ms. Brown, if you're still on, can you just contact the clerk's office just to set up some time with me? I just want to get some context to some of the things you listed today. Just think it needs a little bit more than 4 minutes. So please get in contact with the clerk and we can set up some time to discuss further. Ms. Williams, Ms. Tarina Williams and Ms. Beulah Williams both gave kudos for the hard work of the fire and EMS. And congrats to Jordan. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Okay. So I appreciate everyone for the public comment. We'll be moving on to council comment. Does any council have any comment for tonight?
Yes. Just want to thank everyone for coming out. I also want to give congratulations to our law firm, Adam Malamud and Maggie, for being recognized as leaders in law by New Jersey Biz 2024. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, congratulations to Mr. Jordan Witherspoon. I also had the opportunity with Dr. Worthy to attend the reopening of Well 5B with the WMUA. And I would like to say happy birthday to one of our favorite residents, Miss Beulah Williams. Her birthday is on the 30th, and also to Councilwoman Perrone, who is on June 2nd. Happy birthday. 7th. Oh, I got it all wrong. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we got one more count.
It's the thought that
Sorry.
counts. Thank you.
I'm sorry, and I
Thank
know
you,
the mayor
Deputy.
is on the 5th. Just in case I forget, okay, Geminis. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Anderson. Anyone else for anything real quick? Okay.
Yeah, I too also want to congratulate the young man, Jordan Witherspoon. I'm sure you're going to do amazing things. We are super proud of you. So I'm looking forward to reading more about you and your accomplishments. And I just also want to give a huge thank you shout out to Miss Sharon Anderson. I'm surprised she wasn't on tonight. But I think I've said it before. I have 2 dogs, Pepsi and Cola. So Cola went missing on Sunday. And I contacted Miss Anderson, and she got her red cape and went flying to help me find my dog. So we found her. It took us a few hours, but I just want to thank her for her, stepping in with her team to help me find Cola. So that's all. She's always running off.
Councilwoman Whitfield, you have anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I did want to just acknowledge that summer is definitely coming quickly. So I want to remind everyone about heat safety. Make sure you're staying hydrated, check on your elderly and young neighbors. I saw some kids playing out front in the sprinkler today, so that's always fun to see. But let's take care of each other as the temperatures rise. Keep ourselves hydrated and enjoy all of the wonderful summertime activities that we have going on around the township. I look forward to seeing everyone at the Friday night music at the amphitheater to hear some good gospel tunes. It starts at 7 p.m. at the amphitheater outside of the library. So I am excited about that, and I'll see you all there.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. And I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'm going to make mine quick. We're 9:20. Just a reminder that we do have a community garden at JFK and that, we're looking for volunteers. It's growing. We just started a couple of years ago, but it's growing into, something fabulous. So during the daytime hours of the open hours of JFK, just check it out, and they are definitely Go Grow is one of the people who are one of the groups who are really pushing this initiative. So we are looking for volunteers to help plant, weed, water, the things that go into maintaining a garden. Just a select few cannot do it all. So if we're trying to really be abundant as a community, we need all hands on deck. So I just want to keep reminding people about that during, these crucial months, spring and summer months. But as Councilwoman Whitfield said, I do look forward to seeing everyone at some of the events we have over the next couple of weeks. I think our departments are doing a great job to make sure that our community remains engaged and interfaces with each other. So with that said, have a great evening. And that's it for tonight. And we're executive session, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, you can read the resolution. Oh, wait. No, she has laryngitis. Our dear Councilwoman Worthy, she usually has something very fruitful and very profound to say, but today she has some throat issues. We're going to give her a break today.
Okay, did you want I thought you said you wanted Mr. Lavery to say something.
Laurie, no, that's all right. He wasn't here when I needed him. Yes, go ahead.
Resolution 2024-146, resolution authorizing an executive closed session in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, to discuss personal matters impending and potential litigation. Should I read it in full?
Yeah, you can read it. Go ahead. No, wait. No, go ahead.
Okay.
You want to make the statement after you get the motion?
Yes, I can get the one. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor
Second.
Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. You could make your statement.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Yes, executive session tonight will be for pursuant to NJSA 10:412, subsections B 7 and 8 for matters involving personnel and litigation.
All right. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. And there'll be no
No anticipated action tonight,
Right.
Mayor.
Thank you. Everyone have a great night. Thank you for coming out again. Mhm. Are we recording?
All right.
I didn't hear it. Did you say we recorded? Did you hear it?
I thought I heard it.
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I need a motion to come out of executive.
So moved.
Second, moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Roll call?
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dr. Tiffany Worth,
Yes.
Yep.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.